want to know how he feels. Do you think the committee got it right? I mean, Alabama left off at home just watching it with you.
Hell no, they didn't get it right. I mean, on a Sunday morning, I'm sitting up there. I'm supposed to be watching my NFL football, and I'm sitting there glued to the TV, okay? I'm watching my man Reese Davis. I'm watching Kirk Herbstreit, okay? I'm watching all of these brothers talking on national television, all right? And I'm sitting there going like this, where's Alabama? Where's Alabama? Nick Saban is right. If Nick Saban did one thing wrong, the argument that he was making should have been made weeks earlier. I felt that it was delayed. That was it. Outside of that, Paul Finebaum, I don't understand this. TCU, you know you ain't those dudes, okay? And you know everybody's looking at you undefeated, and they're questioning your schedule. They're questioning whether or not you those guys. You got a conference championship game against Kansas State, and you can't get it done. I want to hear no stuff about, oh, it took a last-second field goal, overtime field goal, and that's how you lost the game. Damn it, everything was on the line. You ain't the SEC. You ain't the Pac-12. You ain't the Big Ten. But the bottom line is everybody knew that, and as a result, you understood the pressure that came with being in that moment. You were supposed to respond. You didn't do it. That doesn't take away from the great season that you had, but you didn't do it. That's why that quarterback was dealing like that, because they knew they felt it cost them a playoff berth. Everything was on the line, and you didn't show up and close the deal. You showed up, but you didn't close the deal. Now let me get to say, we know what happened at USC, all right? And Caleb was saying, he got hurt. We understand he's still going to win the Heisman, but he got hurt, and we got that because that compromised USC. That's why they were up, and then once he got hurt, they weren't the same. But the bottom line is they lost. Utah beat you twice.
2 years in a row.
Out. So TCU is out. USC is out. This is how I'm thinking going into Sunday. This is how I'm thinking, Paul. TCU is out. USC is out. We got Alabama and Ohio State. And then I'm looking at Ohio State, right? What did I say to you last week? It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to get your ass kicked. And they got beat down and bum rushed in the second half against Michigan. This is the rivalry. Didn't we hear the hype? Did you see the promotion, Paul Finebaum? I know you did, okay? What did you see? They sat up there and said, oh, they hate each other. This is the greatest rivalry in sports. I mean, they can't stand each other. They won't even say each other's name. We had to deal with all of that hoopla, all of that pomp and circumstance, all of this stuff that we're looking forward to. And they stomped Ohio State. Stomped them, okay? And so here's what happened, Paul. You want to look at Alabama? Yeah, they got 2 losses. You on the road against your Tennessee squad, okay? It's the last-second field goal as time expires. That's what it takes to beat them. On the road, you go up against LSU. It's a 2-point conversion. On the road as time expires to win those games. Those are the only 2 losses that you got in the greatest college football conference in America. And you trying to tell me once TCU and USC wet the bed that you can't sit up there and put Ohio State and Alabama in? Here's what they did, Paul. Here's what they did. What they said was, you know what? We don't want to put Ohio State 3 because we don't want Ohio State and Michigan going up against one another in the semifinals, okay? But we can't put We can't sit up there and put Alabama there with the 2 losses. So guess what? Alabama's going to be out. TCU's going to be in. We'll put them at number 3. Ohio State's at number 4. And that way, if Ohio State is good enough to beat Georgia, which they won't be, by the way, then they'll go up against Michigan, who will beat TCU. And for the national championship. I mean, this is unbelievable. Alabama got screwed over, Paul Finebaum.
Excuse me,
they did.
Michael Irvin, can you just take a breath?
Oh, come on, man. No, I don't have a toupee. But that's what the bottom line is. Go ahead, Paul. I'm very disgusted. I was very disgusted.
Paul?
Stephen, I love your passion, and you're right about one thing that you said, only one thing. The SEC is the best conference. But you know what? You're wrong about everything else. Alabama didn't beat anyone, and that's the point you have been missing all along. I understand your love for Alabama. I feel the same way. I lived in that state for 30 years, and I was there when Nick Saban showed up, and I saw the transformation of the program. I also watched this team this year, Stephen A. They were inconsistent. They were undisciplined, and they didn't beat anyone. They lost to the 2 biggest games that they had. And by the way, they didn't have to play Georgia. You think they would have beaten Georgia? I don't. So they got to skip the best
Georgia's
team
not
in
a
the
part of this
league.
discussion. They
And
number
yeah,
one. Nobody's debating that.
Well, no, I'm just saying Alabama didn't have to play the same schedule that Tennessee played or LSU had to play Georgia. My point being, Alabama's best win, you know what it was? It was at Texas. Remember, that's the game you said, oh, they got a blow in there, and McConaughey's going to be crying all the rest of the year until Christmas. Well, it took a last-second field goal, Stephen A., against a backup quarterback, and the team you just got through trashing, TCU, they went in there against the starting quarterback and won by more points than your Alabama team did. And at least TCU has a top 10 win. Alabama's got nothing. Their best win of the year, Texas and Mississippi State.
First of all, you brought up Tennessee. I like how you conveniently left out they gave up 63 to South Carolina. I like how you just slid that out of there, okay? But here's the deal. So you say TCU, right? TCU's it. Let's look at TCU's schedule before we get to another subject, okay? So we got Colorado. Okay. I mean, don't get me started with them. They making news because they went and got a damn coach at prime time, Deion Sanders, which we'll be talking about in a minute, okay? I mean, Tarleton State. Who the hell is that? Why would you even play that game?
Hey, Alabama played Austin Peay, Stephen A.
Oh, my God. SMU, Oklahoma, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, West Virginia, Texas Tech, Texas, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State. I'm like this. Listen, that's not, I understand they're decent opponents, but when it counted, when the money was on the line, you didn't get it done. And all I'm saying is this. And listen, if you let TCU in and you kept Ohio State out because they got beat down by Michigan. Okay, there's a program that you thought Jim Harbaugh was done. We all thought, we was like, yo, man, you can't beat Ohio State. All right, got smacked around. The school lost to Ohio State 8 straight years. They were 17-4 over the last 21 years. Ohio State had beat Michigan, and all of a sudden, Michigan handled their business last year, but this year, they stomped them. I mean, they stomped them so bad. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.